Fun and fabulous, Leighann. I am so excited to have you here. I am so excited for this conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited too, and admittedly nervous, but I just love talking to you. We don't know each other that well, but from when we met, I just thought that you were just such a vibrant person. It's just a pleasure to sit here and talk with you today.
Well, thank you. I receive all of that sweet goodness. Thank you so much. And I actually love holding space like this on the podcast for women who are a little bit nervous, who don't think that they have an amazing story of an amazing yes to share, because something happens when you trust me and say yes to this conversation. And then we start talking, and then you start listening to what a phenomenal human you actually are, and what you have done is really cool and really inspiring. And, not all rainbows and champagne flutes, whatever. Like, nobody wants that anyway, right?
Yeah.
We want the growth, we want the expansion, we want it to be in the direction of where we want to go. We want to have a role in that. We want there to be joy. We want there to be freedom, all of those things. We want it to feel easy, but know that that's because we're doing the work.
hmm
So, all of these things make you an exceptional candidate for
Well,
this conversation and for the opportunity to really inspire our listeners with your fabulously aligned yes.
thank you. That's really encouraging. Thank you for saying that.
Of course, it's all true. So let's start by having you share, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Well, my answer is going to be two-part, but
Perfect.
I'll just like to piggyback onto what you just said. That is definitely one of them. Like the yes here now is saying yes to myself and being here in this conversation with you right now on a podcast, which I've never done before, which is so cool. Because I am in progress. I am in the messy middle, which is where most of us live. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe there's somebody listening who is also in the messy middle and or in progress or has a project they want to start, and maybe something that I've done or that I'm learning currently can be inspiring to somebody else. So that's really cool to me. Yeah, I'm not an expert or a guru or anything like that. And yeah, I just feel like speaking from where I'm at is just an honor to be able to be here. And then part two is that about 5 months ago, I chose to go part time in my nursing position.
Amazing.
And I had been thinking about it for a couple of years, and there were a few factors to that. One was to just be more present for my daughter. In her early years, she's 6 years old, and
Oh,
she's growing up fast, and so am I, to be honest. And it's just kind of just slowing down and taking that time with her, as well as stepping back from a little bit of burnout that I was experiencing, which I'm sure we've all had at one point or another in our jobs, or any part of our lives. And my photography business honestly gave me the financial confidence to be able to do that. So I feel really lucky that this, passion project was able to turn into a business that was profitable so that I could really do that. And to be honest, like it's given me more space to be more creative and to be really more intentional and present in my job, even at my nursing job, at my photography business, and with my daughter. I just feel these moments there's more space for everything.
mm,
So that was a really big step for me, and I'm really proud that I was able to do that.
I'm so happy to hear that you've done this. It's so great. I love, just for some background, and I'm sure I said this in your introduction, but just in case. Leighann and I met in Switzerland. She was the photographer for fabulous Jennifer Cantor's wedding. And we had Jen on the podcast want to say probably November of 2025. So if anyone listened to that episode, that's fabulous Jen. This is fabulous Leighann. This is how we all met. And you are living this beautiful existence that it's so picturesque and it's so dreamy. I mean, and that's saying something from the person who also lives a super dreamy existence
Yeah,
as well. But you live in the mountains of Switzerland and it's everything is giant and epic there all around you. And
yes,
I'm wondering, and you're like isolated, but also in a community and in educational system. It's a fascinating microcosm of
definitely.
existence there because you are at an international school, but you are in Switzerland. You
Mhm.
have multiple languages converging, but you're also on a mountaintop, but you're also like have this bird's eye view of what is actually happening in the world at the same time. So I don't know if there's a question in there, except for that there's an, oh my gosh, your every day is filled with these kind of pinch me moments, but also where is my place in this big, beautiful picture as well?
Yeah, you're right. And honestly, I've been here in Switzerland for over 12 years.
Oh,
And
wow, I
prior
didn't
to
know that.
that, yeah, prior to that, I was working seasonally as a nurse for a ski and snowboard camp for 5 seasons.
Cool.
So like collectively 17 years ish living in Switzerland. And I still to this day am in awe of the beauty outside of my window. Like it's a little bit of a cloudy day right now, but like the mountains are magnificent. I still take pictures of like, oh, look at that sunset. Oh, that looks, the light is different today, or I went down to the shopping center in the valley and I was going to the like equivalent of Home Depot or something like that. And I looked up right next to just a massive cliff wall, huge mountain. I was just like, this is crazy where I live. So I still have those thoughts, very pinch me moments, as you say. And I feel so blessed and lucky. And it's just such a beautiful place and quality of life here that I've found for myself and my family.
Yes. Now, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Southern California, which is
Oh,
where I
me
was
too.
raised. Yeah. Born in Oklahoma, but
Okay.
moved to California very young because my dad joined the Navy. He was in the Navy for 20 years. And
So were you
so,
in the San Diego area?
yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
I grew up in Orange County.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I was in Oceanside, actually.
Okay. Yep. So
Yeah.
fun. And
Yeah.
then, and so from California, what happened? Where did you go next? Did you go to
So,
Switzerland, California?
well, no, actually, because my dad is in the Navy, we did live in Italy, in Naples, Italy, for just over 2 years, which I was around the ages of like between 11 and 13. And so that I would say that experience was one of the most formative of my growing up years, because I think it was those years that instilled this like not just love of adventure, but and travel, but also just that was possible. Like just going to the neighboring country and going here on the weekend, like things like that, these trips that feel so unattainable for people who, live on one side of the world to go over to Europe or like from the States to Europe. Of course, there is a financial piece that you have to be able to have, but a lot of people don't do it because it's scary or because it just feels like a big undertaking. But I kind of it gave me the perspective that it wasn't. It was just a possible thing. And look at this other world, these other cultures that are out there. And I wanted more of that. So,
Wow. Wait,
yeah.
can I stop you for 1 second? As the parent of a 12-year-old who thinks, like, well, this is either going to be the greatest thing or the worst thing if I were to do something fabulous like that. How, were you having this adventurous experience while you were having it, or is that a thought in retrospect?
No, I personally, I can speak for myself. Like, I have a brother and a sister, and who had different experiences, and even my mom, had a different experience than me. But for me, it was a really good experience, in that just the age where I was and the friends that I had. We traveled a lot, on school
You
holidays. And
made new friends in Italy, like your friends
yes,
from
of
California
course.
didn't move to Italy with you.
No, yeah, no, we made new friends, and
Good job, you.
um, yeah. So I feel like even in the moment I was appreciative of it. I felt I would have to ask my parents on that one if they had that perspective, but like I think that I did. I enjoyed it. I was present when we were traveling, and I thrived. I think that I thrived during that time, and that was really had an impact on me, I think, in the adult that I became.
For sure. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think would happen, but you just don't know. And
Yeah.
oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, and like ever since I came back from that, I finished high school, I went to university, but I was really itching to, like, even in university, like I want to study abroad, I want to go abroad, I want to go back to Europe or somewhere else. And I couldn't really in my nursing program. It was quite intense, and people in the nursing program didn't study abroad. And so as soon as I got into the real world, working a big girl job, and got a few years of experience under my belt, I was able to leave my job with the confidence that I could come back and do like travel nursing in the States,
Cool.
kind of in between, and have a bit more like free agent style job. And so that allowed me to go to Switzerland the very first time, which was originally just supposed to be a 1 or 2 month seasonal work. And it was, but I met my now husband that first season in Switzerland.
Yay
And
for
it all just
love.
kind of started from there. And of course, everyone was afraid when I left the first time in Switzerland, like, you're going to meet someone there and you're never going to come back. Well,
Hopefully.
sorry, that happened. But I did. So I went back and forth like that for 5 years before I got a full time job here in Switzerland.
Gosh, I love this story so much, Leanne. It's really fun
Yeah.
when we can look back and see, like, oh, yes, my life is amazing. And it totally makes sense because all of the breadcrumbs on my path, all of the glitter on my path brought me to this place. And it's so logical that this is where I should be. And it's magical that it actually happened that way as well.
Yeah. And it's not ever something I planned or imagined for myself. I didn't, know what my life was going to look like after university. I just thought, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to be a nurse, and I'm going to be a nurse, and eventually I have a family. But it wasn't, where am I going to raise my family? Who am I going to marry? What country, and it just, look at me now.
I love this so much. And I love how you have taken your educational pursuits and just relocated them, which I'm sure there's some paperwork with that as well.
If
But
there's
you've
anything.
also, because of that practice, you are able to do that now with what you're doing as well with your photography business. And I know that because you're in it and you know all the paperwork and you know all of the resistance that you move through as you're moving forward. But from here, you are making it look so effortless and so beautiful. And what I love about that is that it's not making it unattainable. It's helping everyone see, oh, 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 I have a skill. I have a desire to be somewhere else. What if I put both of those things together and see what happens? And when you were at the, well, and I'm not sure, tell me what your first full-time job was, but when you were at the ski and snowboard camp, was that something that was just Swiss based, or did that have some collaboration with the international school, or how did you get into that um,
Hmm.
environment?
Yeah. So it was an organization that actually the clientele are international schools which come to the camp, which is based in Switzerland. So they come and learn to ski for a week, which ironically it's the same clientele that is the school that I currently work at. Similar schools would come to this camp, and I was one of the counselors, my husband and I. And So yeah, there was no link to the US or anything. When I was looking to come abroad, I was just looking for a temporary seasonal job just to have an experience. And I actually knew another nurse who had worked for the same company, and so I had a little bit of a connection. And I'd been to Switzerland before, and was kind of familiar with things, and I got the job luckily. And yeah, that just snowballed from there. I just never went back.
So good. It's so good. And then how did you transition from that ski camp into where you are now?
hmm Well, it was basically because of, the desire to be in Switzerland year round. My camp job didn't give me a visa that was year round. And so I was looking for someone. I knew that I was, serious about my now husband, that we wanted to be in the same place, and I needed to find a job here in Switzerland. So I did find this part-time job at the first year I was here at the school. I was part time, and that just kind of got my foot in the door, and got my permit for the year. And a few years later, he was able to get a job at the same school. So now we've been in the same place, which was perfect for us.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yay. And how is that process? Just, if someone is saying, because I think sometimes we hear these stories and we're like, oh, yeah, that'd be amazing, but it's probably really hard, or, but it's probably takes too long. Or I saw somebody on Instagram who said that you can't get a bank account in France, or like whatever. Like people just have their
Yep.
own experience. And sometimes we build a whole case about of how we can't have what we want because somebody else had some wacky experience that we've
Yep.
now decided is the only way that it is. So please set us straight.
I mean, you're absolutely right. We can always make excuses for ourselves or find a reason not to.
Yep.
There's always going to be a barrier. There's never going to be an easy, clear path somewhere. And that doesn't mean like, because there's a barrier that it's not something you should pursue. If it's something you really want to pursue and you're passionate about, then find a way, because there is a way. And if you can't do it on your own, find someone to help you. It's not, about how, it's who can help you achieve this goal. And it doesn't have to be done overnight either. Do the research, ask people, but just have your sights set on the thing. And if it's what you really want, don't just wait for it to happen. Like, I'm going to manifest this. It's going to happen if it's right. Like, you do have to take action and pursue it if you really want it. Because,
Right. I mean, that's a spiritual bypass to say, well, if it's supposed to happen, it'll just find me. And portions of that are true, but like you said, you have to take the action. Where the work is and what we as a community of this say yes sisterhood, like we know that the work is internal work. The work is, what is my role in this today, identifying what those next steps are so that we're taking inspired action, not
mhm.
just frenetic action and then being frustrated that it's not working.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I feel obviously, um, blessed as well. I feel like I've had some great opportunities that I was able to um, jump upon, and doors have been open for me, so to speak. But
You
but
have
I
to
all
be on the front porch to know that the door is open.
Yeah, yeah, and you have to take the step and be intentional, and and see where it leads you.
Right.
And sometimes it leads somewhere that's really beautiful.
And always better.
Yeah.
Like we have this picture in our mind. You mentioned manifesting. And, I think that that is a step in certainly my practice, but I do a lot of personal inquiry of what is it that I want. And I base that around how do I want to feel? Like, what feeling do I think owning a chateau in France is going to give me? And then I think about that. Ooh, fun, freedom, thrilling, more guest rooms, longer
Beautiful.
table, love all of it. Potential, opportunity, bliss, twirling around and being surrounded by vineyards that don't belong to me, but I get to look at them. I get like, it feels so good to think about that. And so I can practice that feeling even before I get the thing that I want, right? So I'm someone that is looking at that might say, oh, she's trying to manifest a chateau in France. It's like, no, I'm manifesting the feeling of a chateau in France so that
Inspire
I
you.
can
Yeah.
be on the same frequency, on the same radio station as the chateau in France so that we become a match. But
Yeah. Yeah.
in that, I don't have to say, I can say it's surrounded by vineyards that don't belong to me. But I don't have to say it has to be this one, this address, and this is the only thing that it's going to be, and it has to be owned by some handsome single French guy. And like, oh, whose name is XY,
Ideally.
it's like we can be as specific as still feels good
Hmm.
in that in how that raising of our own personal vibration. Like we know
Yeah.
we're the only ones who know because it's
Yeah. And it's
inside
good because that feeling it inspires you and it keeps you motivated too, because let's be honest, it's not always an easy road, there are barriers, like we said, and pitfalls and roadblocks, and I found that even in starting like the photography business here too, it was really, I was like, how do you even go about that? Like, how does one start a business? What do I do? And so it's just talking to people and even when and getting help, and even when I got things rolling, um, I realized there's a lot more to it behind the scenes, or it's a lot more work than I thought, or all these other little pieces. Like this is really hard, but like keeping hold of that positive kind of mindset and that you were talking about, this living in that dream of what you want it to be, it keeps you kind of going and pushing past those hard
totally,
moments.
totally, because the dreaming part, that's easy.
Yeah.
Like that just all feels good. That has nothing to do with the logistics of, you know, how do I find a notaire to
Yeah.
facilitate the purchase, or how do I, find someone to mow the lawn? Like that is like, ugh, which you would think those are great things because that means that
Hmm.
it's closer. But we want to balance that, keeping it far enough away that it's pulling us toward it.
Yeah.
And that's why when we get that thing, like when you got the part-time job, it wasn't like, oh, this is the last thing I'll ever want. No, we're continuing to create, we're continuing to fine tune, even in this, I want to spend more time with my family or with my daughter. How do I do that? Well, if I had this side hustle, I could have more time. Okay, how do I do that? And it just continues to morph and brings you closer to the feeling that you want and the experience that you want to have. But it's also being unattached to the outcome
Hmm.
beyond the feeling. So,
Hmm.
because there's so much we don't know. It's like you might have said, I want to start a photography business, but maybe you didn't say, or, no, and it has to be family portraits and it has to be only for Christmas cards. Or, you just don't get that specific because we
Hmm.
miss out on these other paths that are here for us that are going
Yeah.
to get you to the feeling that you want.
Yeah.
It's just always this or something better.
Yeah, exactly. That resonates definitely with me because I never started out, like I said, it's a passion, the photography. It kind of just turned into something that I realized that I could make money off of and that people wanted. It was a service
Right.
that people wanted. And the feeling that I got from making people feel good in their photos and delivering a gallery to them of something that was beautiful and just their reactions. It's this like for me, honestly, it's a positive feedback loop, and it's
Totally.
wonderful for me and it's wonderful for them. And it started out just with a love of taking photos. And then when I realized I like taking photos of people, when I started, it was just portraits of friends and families. And I never knew, it was never like, I'm going to start a wedding photography business. It kind
Right.
of just slowly became that. I realized like, this is working. I like this. And you start to kind of niche into what you want. And even then I was like, I don't think I want to ever do it full time. I still don't know if I want to do it full time, but maybe let's see how it
Well,
evolves.
no, soon.
Um, because I still really enjoy my nursing job and I still enjoy being a nurse and helping people in that sense. So I'm very much in that space of like we're just seeing how it goes. Like I have big goals and things that I want, but like whatever opportunities come my way, I'm just going to see how it evolves.
I love that for you. And it's so fun because when you are going into things with this curiosity, with this discovery, like, huh, okay, well, I do like this, but I don't like that. Okay, so how can I have more of what I like? How can we morph this a little bit? Maybe it's, oh, okay, I'm gonna listen to my intuition when I'm meeting with a client to know
Mhm.
that like something that doesn't start off well, chances are it's not going to end up well either.
Yeah,
Or things about different venues or things about what shoes you should wear. I mean, it's just constantly you get to fine tune it along the way.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, you don't always know what you're going to get in terms of clients or what's going to come your way, and but it's nice to get to the point eventually, and maybe it's kind of starting right now, to where you can choose
Yeah.
the right jobs for you. You can choose the people, like you said, who fit, who align with your vision and who align with where you want to go and the type of work and art that you want to create, that I want to
You
create.
can. You can
And
choose.
so
Everybody
I'm,
is at that place. It doesn't matter if
yeah,
you're starting your business tomorrow, you can choose.
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But it's like I definitely feel like I'm at that stage. This whole journey of starting a photography business has taught me a lot, like as a human and as like an independent and as a woman, like I'm more feel like more mature. I feel like I'm adulting now. I'm 41, Wendy, okay? But I still feel like sometimes I have moments where I'm like, now I'm adulting, you know?
Right?
And it's like these types of things that I'm like, I choose to hold space for this and I choose not to hold space for that.
Right.
And it's like I choose to put a value on my time. And if something is not worth my time, then I'm going to say no, or I'm going to have someone else do that for me. Or so I really feel like this has given me the confidence to kind of make some of these realizations.
And
Yeah.
it's beautiful because you get to bring that feeling of alignment into the other areas of your life, right?
Yeah.
Not just with your wedding clients.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, it's so good. And you're modeling it for your daughter. It's so good.
I hope so. I
You
hope
are,
so.
are. And I want to say too about how you are with your clients. Obviously, everyone who knows her knows that Jen Cantor is a unicorn and
Yes.
brings out the
Love you, Jen.
highest and best in everyone who's around her because that's what she's a match for. And that's what she attracts out of everybody else. It's so great. And it is easy to want to make something fabulous for a person like her. And so I just want to reflect to you what my experience was of working with you on this wedding.
Oh,
I
would love to hear that.
I mean did this for a really long time and now I
This
just
is a live review, everyone.
this is and now I just do this selectively, which is chef's kiss. Like it's so
Yes,
good.
yes.
It's
I'm
so
doing
fun.
it.
So I loved how available you were to her and to what she wanted, and you brought your professionalism to it. But you have such a great eye, obviously, you're a photographer, but you saw things and then you made them happen. And sometimes that meant the bride was going down a slippery hill, which my wedding planner self was like, okay. Okay, I have the cleaning wipes for the dress if anything happens, but you helped her feel confident, and whatever precarious route you required her to take, you took a 10x precarious route. You were
I,
on these slippery rocks that you
I
succumbed
have to,
to.
we can say it, Wendy, we can say it, but let me just clarify. Jen and David walked down to that spot of their own volition, and I said,
Yes, they
okay,
did.
let's go with this.
Yes, they did. And
And
you had the
me, you
shoes to do
alluded
it.
to the rocks, the slippery rocks. This is the first time and probably the most embarrassing, most dramatic oopsie I've had as a wedding photographer so far is that I slipped on the rocks and fell right into the lake
Yes,
with
you
my
did.
camera gear. My camera gear was okay. I sacrificed my body.
And you sacrificed you for the bride. I mean, that's the job, Queen. That is we do it all the time. But
And
I
then I was like, Wendy, did you get that on video?
yes, I did. Because it's so what I loved about that was you like I feel like that was such a gorgeous example of presence. Like you wanted this epic shot. They were here for it. You were here for it. You made it happen. I got the best view of it and stayed dry, but it was so fun that that happened and you were safe and your camera gear was safe and also that that was just one part of it. You didn't then make it about you. You didn't then say, all right, we're out because my shoes are wet or whatever. Like you were like, okay, let's go up this other hill and let's go over here and let's do this and let's do that. And it just, you were so in the moment that whatever happened, you're like, huh, okay, well, that was interesting. Let's try something
Honestly,
here.
it's true. Like I actually Jen, I was kind of talking about this at one point a couple months ago with Jen and just how it is being a photographer and she said it in these words. She was like, it's like you're in a flow state. And it's so
Totally.
true. Like I am in the zone when I'm
Yep.
photographing. I am like, I'm not feeling pain. I'm not feeling
Mm-hmm.
this. I'm not worried. I'm not stressed. I'm not thinking about anything else in the world. I'm not thinking about my family, to be honest. I'm
Right.
not thinking about what I'm going to eat. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing tomorrow or what I'm stressed about next week. I am like in the zone and I
Yep.
have a vision and I am creating. And it's such a cool space to be in. And I never really recognized that until she said it. I'm like, you're absolutely right. I am very much like in the zone, in flow state when I'm
Totally.
photographing. And that's the only important thing in that moment is that
Well,
couple
right.
there, the attention.
And that is exactly what I am trying to say. Like you were in it. And what I love about that is that helps me, like that makes me feel good. It's like when you're driving and someone falls asleep in the car and you're like, oh, I love that they have so much
I love
confidence
that for you.
in my driving that they can do what they need to do. And it helps me, like, as the wedding planner, like, oh, yay. I'm so happy that everyone is so in their bliss, knowing that I'm going to make sure that whatever, nothing happens except for you might fall in the water. Anyway, it just is, it's beautiful to witness, is what I'm saying. And I love that I got to witness it. And I just, the finished product, but really like how you feel about you and what you're doing puts your client at ease and gives them the permission to love what they're doing and to be
Yeah.
where they are and to not be present and knowing that like I've got the timeline so you all don't have to worry about what time it is because I'll let you know when we need to be back in the car and it's like everyone was in their zone and it was beautiful.
Yes. Well, thank you for saying that. And it was
Yeah.
lovely to work with you.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. And it when we were walking through that beautiful French village, I was like, oh my, I'm getting married in France. Like this is ridiculous. Like it's so beautiful. I
It
loved it.
really, that
So
village is really pretty. Yes, as I was walking through with my half soaking jeans and my slopping wet shoes and socks.
that's right. That's right. You're able to see the beauty in all of it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it
So,
was super
I
fun.
have a question, like logistically for this transition in your work.
Hmm.
How does that happen internationally? And is your husband Swiss? Is that why you get to do whatever you want? Or do you like, what are the visas? What are like, if someone's like, okay, I'm in. I'm a wedding photographer, but why would I do that in Cleveland, Ohio, when I can be in Switzerland living my best life? So how do you do that?
Yeah, so I'm not an expert. However, I know that you have to have a reason, so to speak, to have a to work in like come and live in Switzerland. So that the reason that I was able to do that initially with my job at the school was because my school hired me and they filled a job that, was not likely to be done by a Swiss person, probably in
Okay,
this case, because at the time, they needed someone speaking English, who was a nurse and this and that. So, and I know that they have tightened up on that since I started at the school. So coming in as a wedding photographer, I don't believe you can just come and move to Switzerland and start your business. You could, however, legally have the right to be a resident in another European country, for example, or somewhere, and you can work in Switzerland, but you couldn't residence your business in Switzerland, for example, as far as I know.
sure.
Um, but for me personally, I'm able to start a business here because I already have a residence permit through my other job, and I achieved a resident status, a certain permit level where actually I'm eligible for Swiss citizenship. I just need to fill out the paperwork.
Amazing.
So yeah, because I've been here long enough that I have that ability and that right to work freely within the country.
That's so great. I love it.
Yeah.
I just, you don't know what you don't know. So I like asking someone what their experience was. And I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
not as evident as one might hope, to just up and move to another country because yes, there are these, as we all know, especially as Americans, the legalities of just people wanting to go to a country where they're not a citizen or a resident can be complicated sometimes, no matter where it is. And so, yeah, definitely something to research. And maybe it would require, yeah, a spouse or something to get you in the door under their job initially. But as a nurse, I can say it's really easy to get a job in different places around the world. There's so many different types of nursing and opportunities, even in the international school network, that you can up and travel. So it's been a really great piece for me to start out my career in, and has opened the door to this in the
right.
second part of my life.
It's beautiful. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So what are you looking forward to next? Like you're entering into wedding season. How is this going for you? What are you looking?
Yes, I'm entering into wedding season, which is typically late spring, goes usually through October or so. I don't get very many winter weddings, or there are less weddings in general, people in the winters. So I'm coming into a very busy season, and I've had some really exciting projects at the start of the year that I'm excited to share more of. Yeah, I've got big things happening this year. I really feel proud of myself in my business. I started only just over 3 years ago,
Amazing.
um, legally established as a sole entrepreneur in Switzerland. And from there, I started with zero network, zero credibility, zero contacts, not a very small portfolio, and I've made connections, and certain people have given me opportunities and trusted me, and it's just really slowly grown. And I just keep setting my sights higher and higher, thinking, what I said before, I never thought it was going to get to this level, or I never thought I was going to go there, or that I'd be able to quit my job and support myself. But it's kind of like, okay, well, I've achieved that. Like, let's just dream bigger and see where it goes, and let's go international. Let's getting more international weddings and contacts from people abroad, and um, choosing weddings which align more with my style aesthetic, and things that I want to photograph more, and having that kind of freedom. So, and gaining more confidence and meeting more people. And so I'm really excited for what's to come, and watch the space.
We will, we will. It's very exciting. So are you doing weddings outside of Switzerland? Are you traveling? That's so fun.
Yeah, that's kind of picking up more this year. Some weddings in France, and maybe some other things that are happening that I can't talk too much about yet. But yeah, I'm really excited and I'm really open to that. I'd love to. One of my goals this year is expanding more into the international couples coming to Switzerland to get married in Switzerland as their destination wedding.
Right.
I think Switzerland is really underrated destination wedding location. But it's so beautiful. You know, you hear about like Como and these chateaus in France and southern France. But Switzerland has a lot to offer and it's so pretty. And I think that growing that kind of marketing for Switzerland destination weddings would be really cool, especially because this is my neighborhood. And
Right.
yeah, but also traveling around Europe and photographing in beautiful locations. Why wouldn't I want to do that?
That's right. It's an easy yes.
Yeah, and English speaking couples too. Right now, the majority of my clients are Swiss or a Swiss person married to an expat from somewhere else. And so most of my clients are French speaking, and all my weddings I'm directing in French and everything. My client communications and client calls on Zoom like this, and everything's in French, which is constant challenge for me, but it has really pushed my language skills and really kind of had to throw myself out there and just do it. And so that's been really good for me. That being said, I want to keep that as well, but I'd love to expand into English speaking couples coming from abroad.
That's so fun. Okay,
Yeah.
listener, if you know anybody who's looking for a
Get
fantastic
married in Europe.
venue and photographer, oh my gosh.
I will
That,
fall in lakes for you.
yes, you will. She'll be in the zone. Please have a planner to hold her stuff. Yes. Oh, it's so exciting, Leighann. I love this for you.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
really
Yeah.
fun. Please
Yeah.
tell everyone where they can find and follow you, how they can book you for their upcoming international wedding, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram. It's at peace_love_Lee, Leigh. I'm also on TikTok, peace.love.lee. And my website is www.peacelovely.com. And I'd love for you to come and follow me and watch my journey and the messy journey that I'm in, and watch me grow because I'm going to.
We all are. Oh, it's so good. We'll link everything down in the show notes, but thank you so much for your time. I loved this conversation.
Thank you so much, Wendy.